everyone. Welcome to today's program on real investment, active real investment. So today we have our usual panelists plus one addition. I'll just introduce them briefly before we continue with the discussion. We have Daniel Ejay, who is known for his expertise in management, accounting, and finance, has a bachelor in management from UCC, University of Cape Coast, and is also a chartered accountant by the Institute of Chartered Accountants, Ghana, and is currently reading his master's at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. He has experience in lots of industries, mining, construction technology, and also in strategy as well. So welcome. Richard Opoku is a skilled policy analyst, and he has experience in both public and private sector. In the private sector, he worked as a consultant, management consultant for PwC. And in the public sector, he works at the Ministry of Finance. And he also has lots of excellent awards, with many of them very bright man. So we'll be hearing from him as well as we go on. Bismarck is also a member of the Association of Chartered Certified Accountants. He has knowledge in finance, accounting, and he's currently the senior manager of PwC Ghana. So we'll be hearing from him as well. Dr. Sarah Mkawa is a senior lecturer at the University of Cape Coast with over 15 years experience in teaching. He has a PhD in economics and some certifications in Certified Global Management Accountant, Associate of Certified Management Accountant, also has an MBA degree and a Bachelor of Commerce degree. And then he taught all of us on the panel. So thank you, Dr. Kawo, for that. And the new addition to the panel is Dr. Khadija Idrisu, who's a lecturer at the Islamic University College of Ghana. Over 5 years experience in teaching and at the University of Ghana and also at SDD UBIDS. And she's also a consultant for the Exim Bank, African Exim Bank, African Export and Import Bank. And she also has a PhD in finance and MFA in finance and a whole lot of other qualifications that we'll be hearing from her as well. So yeah, let's get the ball rolling. The first question, we have to look at the overview of active real investment. What are some of the lucrative areas of active investment in Ghana, especially in Ghana and Sub-Saharan Africa and Africa as a whole? And then what are some of the key things we should consider when we are getting into active investment? So Bismarck will do that for us, Bismarck.
Yeah, thank you. And so last week we did look at passive and then active investment, where we did differentiate between them by saying that for passive, you just invest and your portfolio is not really moving. But for the active investor, you are basically involved. And so your portfolio keeps moving, things keeps changing around. Basically, you're actively involved. And we dive deep into the financial instruments, which are mostly not the real one, because they are mostly some paper-based, like a treasury bill. It's not something that has any asset or any physical asset that you can see. And so today we just want to talk about the real investment in terms of what you can do with your money in a real asset form, where you invest in something, you see that item capitalize into a structure or something that you can really look at. And so to start with, I just want to differentiate between the highly capital intensive one and the non-capital intensive one, because of our listeners, because we don't want to just talk to those who have money to do the big things. And so if you look at the Ghanaian economy, the economy is growing, a lot of things are happening, a lot of things are changing, a lot of activities are growing. And in a growing economy, there's also always opportunity for growth, something that you can never take away from a growing opportunity, because there are always problems that in a growing economy one want to solve. For a less capital intensive item would be a normal buy and sell. I know maybe you have heard it on numerous occasions, but that's the most simple thing that you can do, either the buy and sell or a small, I say a small manufacturing, something like doing drinks or those things and selling it on the market. The actual point is that most of these activities are saturated activities. That means a lot of people are doing it. You can have 5, 10 people doing the same thing, even in the same area. But then with that kind of business venture, what one is advised to do is you just have to be different. And so that's when one person, you have to be an accountant, social media expert, and all that. And normally, what differentiates one from another is basically the branding. And so you have to brand yourself well. One would notice that in our current world, or in our current social media, is one of the things that we use. And I speak of this not as just a consultant, but as somebody who is using it and making money from it. So if you have a very good product and you're able to market it well on a social media platform, most of the time you're able to reap your money. So if you are busily doing buy and sell, for me, I would say that aside having a physical shop, having a social media, a good presence on social media is one of the key ways to grow. As I speak currently, I run a business with my wife, and I can say that our sales from social media is far better than our sales from the physical shop. But you keep the physical shop just because of presence, because of some certain kind of suppliers who want to deal with people who have those kind of shops, and they think that they are the ones you can trust. But because of the delivery system that currently we have in Ghana, you'd realize that if you have an online business with a good delivery and a reliable person who is doing the delivery, your business can flourish, because currently people do a lot of referrals. Somebody tells another person, and you don't need much on the social media. I mean, it's a little capital intensive, because maybe, but not as compared to having running a very big shop. For example, if I have an ad I want to post on Facebook as a sponsored app, or Instagram as a sponsored app, I can put a limit, set a target audience, even the location, the kind of people that it would go up to, and to be a sponsored app, and it can run for, let's say, 3 days for $15 a day, $15 in the whole of that 3 days, with a certain kind of audience. And it will showcase your product to those kind of people, and they would then come in and buy from you. And this is more like a free marketing that, if you compare it to going to a traditional media station, you cannot. So if you want to do normal buy and sell and everything, what I would advise you do is that put a lot of effort into your personal marketing and into your brand. And then it's sometimes what you notice with some of us is we don't even have the good relationship with our customers, because now it's no longer calling, it's a matter of texting. The guy texts you, hey, it takes you 3 days to read that chat or to respond. The guy sends you money, he says he can't add charges, you are pissed off, you said no. So you just have to be flexible in that particular kind of nature. So if you want to ask me that you don't have money, what can you do? I would say, just at the start, just go into buy and sell and pick one or two things, put it on your and it will be a game changer. Because if I tell you how I started from selling the books, it's very funny. So we ran a bookshop, and if I tell you how we started from selling those books, and it's a special niche. I don't sell textbooks. I don't sell a lot of study material, set specifics like law books, or I sell only storybooks. And it will amaze the kind of people who want to buy storybooks in Ghana. And at the start, I think I was hesitant, because I thought nobody is really interested in some of these things, but people are out there looking for solutions one way or the other. So how you go out to them, how you present your solutions to them. And I know Richie and his wife also run a business, and I think he can also speak to and attest to the fact that there's lots of competition, but the way you enter the market, the way you talk about it, the way you put yourself in a position can also help you. But if you want to go into the heavily capital intensive things like agri business in manufacturing and all those stuff, that is also there, because Ghana is a very lucrative, it's a very small market with a very lucrative business, and people who are willing to go in further and do a lot of things to help grow the economy. And so in the Greek side, you can look at cashew, the cash crops, the cashew, the normal cocoa, cotton, others that you can invest in. But you just have to be sure that some of these things, right? For example, in farming, if you're not very involved, what happens is you have somebody farming on the doing the farms for you, overseeing it, and they will say, okay, we divide it three is to one. So you take the 3 is to 1, you take one, you take two, and they take one of the harvest that comes in. But sometimes you're not even on the field, you don't know how much they are harvesting. So if you want to go into it, you just have to be on the field, and just have to be, and also factoring in the fact that the prices can be volatile at times. And if you are doing it and want to do it on a commercial scale, make sure you have the monies to pay for things like irrigation. Make sure you are doing it wholeheartedly, make, and if as much as possible you can add value to it, if you can speak to people like the government to help you in terms of this 1D 1F project too, that's going to also help you to grow those kind of business. In finance currently, I will say that there is nothing as best as providing small market, small lending avenues for people. I think that sometimes the challenge with that is getting the approval from BOG to do some of these things. For example, there is this guy who provides rent. I think it's called, I say Remo or something. What they do is that, in Ghana, people pay 2 years rent, right? So instead of paying that 2 years rent, this guy will pay the rent for you in advance, and then what you only do is that you pay him on a monthly basis. A very good business, and that's his whole business model. He doesn't lend to any other body. That's the only thing he lends to, and he's making very good money. A lot of people need money in this market for small business, and that's why you have things like this company, Quick Credit, and those companies flourishing because people don't really need much. People just need just a little to move around. But the challenge is getting those particular funds from the mainstream or the traditional banks is very difficult because you're not even their target market. How do you bring this, bring that? You don't have those stress. So people are able to enter into those market and are able to identify a specific solution that they want to really solve. Currently, you would realize that some of the banks have seen the need that people open schools, parents schools resumes, and parents have to buy stuff. So many banks are now giving those particular kind of loans to parents. That's I think it's up to 20,000. I know one at ADB, I think it's around 20,000 with a certain company, the Kingdom or something, where you can pick stationery. So people are being creative in the economy. In the same finance space, we have your fintechs, which for me, I think that the fintech market is very saturated now. The same kind of people doing the same business, and a whole lot of fraudulent things have gone in there. So now investors are very, very not very sure about investing in another fintech unless you can really prove to them that your idea that you are bringing is something different. But if it's the same platform, just linking your mobile money to your phone number to those payment platform, I think we already have a lot. But if you think you have something which is very different that you can enter into the market with, I think that would be very, very innovative, and that would be very, very fine. If you ask me currently, I always tell people that what I'm thinking about is an investment fund that will say I can invest in USD, and they will use it to invest in maybe stocks in Apple or something in the US on my behalf, although I'm in Ghana. I'm looking at a day that somebody will tell me that they can do that. So if you have a business in finance and you can do that, I think that would be very, very great and very, very innovative. For mines and other stuff, I mean, those places are highly, highly, highly. So, I don't know, there's politics, there's other stuff that you just have to get the right connections. But I mean, the minerals are always in Ghana, and they're always in Ghana, and you can always get those things from it. For transportation, it's hard to run a transportation business. I've run some before, it didn't go well. I lost my money. I think I did it with my brother. He could attest to the fact that we lost the money, and so it's not something that maybe people would want to do. But the challenge still remains that in Ghana, transportation is a problem. That if somebody is able to crack the code and solve it, that person would make money from it a lot. But as to whether you will be the person to find the solutions to those particular problems, that is another game. But all I want to say is that with the things like even after and all those things coming up, moving logistics from one country to another even poses a very great opportunity. Imagine, because now you can move goods from Ghana to maybe Mali. Who provide that service? Who is driving it? Because you will not travel, you will not definitely fly it. You move it across using cars. Do you have a cargo car to provide those particular services in between different kind of different countries? You enter into your real estate market where people are looking at now. Currently, people don't really want to build. People just want to buy, because if you want to build, you are getting a land at a far away place. People want to buy 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom, and very funny enough, most of our buildings in Accra cantonment are sold up. There's a building at just around the Huawei building. They are just in cantonment, police headquarters. It's just coming up, and it's sold out. I think it's left with the penthouse. Even that one, I'm sure by now is gone. I mean, people are just buying it because of our tourism, which is now growing. There was this young guy in KNUST who started a small tourism business where he used to take students on Easter break to Kwewu, to other places, and now he's doing amazingly well. People want to travel. Ghana wasn't known for that. We were known for, if you go on leave, you go and sit at your home and you sleep. But now it's not like that. People want to explore the world. And so in our tourism industry too, people are willing to spend now than they used to be. So in general, our market is growing. There are opportunities for us to grow. And so if we can make good advantage of it, if we can look at around ourselves and make it will be very, very good for us. However, if we want to do it, we have to know that investors have things they are looking out for, and we have to fulfill those things because it's about margins, about returns. And also, mind you, sometimes it's not even about just making profit, it's about meeting some certain kind of sustainability goal. For example, if you want to enter into any business and now you are using renewables, like a guy using banana plants to make menstrual pads in the north, doing amazingly well. And you see other companies like Cosmos, all those guys investing in those businesses because he has identified the need. And you can look at that. People who are using sachet water to even make bags, and those people are going viral. You look at what they are doing, everybody is talking about. People are using tie to make designs as like center tables and other stuff, and you realize that it's not much, but those people are getting all the airwaves talks that they need, and everybody is talking about those people in that state. So you cannot say it's just by chance. They have cracked the code. And so what I would say is that if you want to invest, first of all, profit is good. Look at what you want to do. Is it that you want a certain kind of people to invest in? You want World Bank to look at your business in such a way because you want to meet a sustainable goal? If that's your basis, then what you have to do has to be told around that line, because the funding is available, but it's just a matter of you reaching out to the right people. If you want a venture capital to come and invest you, because as a result of the DDEP, even some pension funds are looking for alternative places to invest their money. And so most of them are pumping money into venture capital, overseas, in Gyro, all those guys, people are pumping money into there. If you're able to pitch your business with them, which my fellow colleagues will talk about in terms of business plan and all those it related activities, if you want to venture into those things and do the right thing with the right network, you can grow and grow well. But at the end of the day, you have to mind what you have to mind is that the specific investor you want to attract, you have to know what they are looking for, because it's not all of them that are looking for money. Some of them are just looking to solve a problem in the society. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the presentation. And so, as we know, they say necessity is the mother of invention. So, just look around you and then find some problem you want to solve, and you can make a very good business out of it. And so, having these areas, we now have to find a way to plan, have a concept around the problems, and then make it a viable business. And so, Dr. Kawo will take that question and then lead us in a discussion.
All right, thank you very much. It's very important to get a concept, as our brother has laid the foundation. The concept that you have, you must have the commitment in order to undertake that particular concept. That business idea you want to implement, you must understand that business idea. You must know the in and out of the idea. You don't just stand up and you start implementing. If you do not have an idea about what you want to do, and you are putting others into it to do that for you, just as my brother Bismarck said, he started a transport business with a brother, but it didn't work. I wish they would tell us the reason why it didn't work. They were not into it themselves, but they've given that transport business to somebody to do. And the person ended up messing them up. So if you have a concept, you must have that commitment and that zeal, that energy to invest all your time into it. Because money is not very easy to come by. And also, there is the need for you to understand the total amount of money involved in the concept you want to undertake. If it is buying and selling, and you need a shop to do that, there is the need for you to know how much the shop is going to cost you, at least for the next 5 years. You need to know the expenses in terms of the number of workers that are going to come in. You must look at the rent that you are going to pay, the salaries that you are going to pay, the utilities, the taxes that you are going to pay. You need to put all these things together. But that is not enough. After putting all these things together, you must understand your market. Who are your target markets? Where are they located? Where is the business location? You get the market and try to see if your customers would be available for you. As Bismarck said, I also have a business with my wife. We run it, but we know the market. Government workers who are on regular salary. And when we get our goods, what we do is to sell to them on credit because we know people will not have the money to pay in time. And so anytime goods come in, we know the people and what they are going into. And we are also not just into anything. We are looking at things that there will be demand for. So the people will use it. After some time, they will have to come back to get those things that we want
6 hours.
to be having. Having looked at your market and looking at the target population that you are looking at, there is also the need for you to do what we call the cash flow projection. How many goods or how much in terms of sales can you make over the period? Look at that, project it for 5 years. You can do it on daily basis, monthly basis, and then on yearly basis. So project, okay, I'm going to do this. And do not just overestimate your revenue. Do not be so much ambitious. Be content with the little that you can start with. Sometimes we set so much goals and targets that it becomes very difficult for us to achieve those targets. So you get the cash flow in terms of the cash that you are going to have. Then you have your expenses there. Your weekly, monthly, yearly expenses. You match your expenses against all your revenues. You are doing this so that your business, maybe in the first year, can at least break even. That is, you are not making a loss, you are not making a profit, but you are doing everything. And in this concept development, we are saying that there are experts that are available that can give you advice. We have something that we call the investment appraiser. So the most popular investment appraiser technique is what we call the net present value. So last week, we look at the present value and future value, looking at time value of money. And so that concept of time value of money now plays a critical role in what you are doing, because the monies that you are going to forecast, the sales, the expenses are future cash flows. So you discount them to the present. And once you discount them to the present, then you want to find out how much you are making today so that you would go into your business proper. And so any financial advisor, economist can advise you on how you can do this. Because most of the times we have people starting businesses because somebody is doing it. They themselves do not understand the business that they are into. Now, having understood all these things, there's the need for you to put controls in place. The controls are very key. You put the controls to prevent fraud, embezzlement, cash controls, receivable controls, inventory controls. These are things that you have to put down to check that everything is intact. You have to keep proper records. So if you have a computer, you keep your records on the computer. If you have, you don't have a computer, you can keep your records in the notebooks. You keep them there. so that everything that you are doing is on record. You continuously to take stock of your activities from time to time. Our brother Bismarck said human relations is very key. You must have an excellent human relation. You must know how you are going to deal with your employees, your customers. The customer is keen. You spend so much amount of money in getting your customer to work with you. And so if your customer comes in, you must make sure the services that you are providing to the customer is not just that you are doing a service to the customer. It's that customer that is doing service to you. So you must understand that. The other aspect of the concept implementation is that we get pricing very wrong. We do not, because we do not keep proper records, we set the prices abnormally or haphazardly, and thereby sometimes undercutting our profit or overestimating so much in terms of the profit that we have. And so pricing is also another thing that we can also look at. There is no man who is an island. And so there is the need for you to learn from other people in that same area that you are into. If it is real estate that you want to go into, talk to those in the real estate sector. If it is agri that you want to go to, talk to those in that particular sector. And then you learn from them. And in financial terms or business terms, say you are doing benchmarking so that you learn from the best practices and use it to improve the business that you have. If you are able to do all these things, you would be able to run a successful business and grow that particular business. We have a lot of entrepreneurs when they are developing the concept, they are developing it having in mind their families that will take over from them when they are not there. And a lot of these businesses die along the line. There is a special concept for the management of family businesses. And maybe one day we may talk about that particular one. There is the need for you to have a family constitution, a family charter as to what you want to do and the members of your family, where they are going to go. That is when you know, when you are sponsoring a family member for education, for a trade, the area that you are sending them so that when they come back, they will fit into that particular business for you. If you are running it with your wife and your wife doesn't have the skills, or your husband who doesn't have the skills, what type of skills are you going to give to that particular person? Where and where and when that particular person will go for that particular training. When we do this, let us also remember that the entire concept and its implementation depends on you investing 100% of your time. Entrepreneurs don't sleep. You think in the night, you brainstorm in the night, you ask a lot of critical questions and get answers. You must be objective with yourself and be truthful, be transparent with whatever that you are doing. Thank you.
Thank you very much.